Oh, I welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast. And today is Monday. I'm here with my buddy Julian, and you know what to do. We're back at it again.
Fucking Mondays, man.
Yes, sir. What's going on? Tell me how you feeling, bro.
Surprisingly okay for a Monday.
Yes, sir.
A lot of good stuff going around Europe. Just kind of, I got a new cat this past week, so it's been very, very tough catching up with everything. So, integrating with the other animals, and it's been basically another part-time job.
Yeah.
So not sleeping a ton, but it's fine. But the Euros were good. A lot of interesting things happening in the matches themselves and in the speculation on the tables. But then there's some interesting news that's creeping up as well. Slowly but surely.
Let's start with news.
Yep.
We're gonna hit the news on Euros, and we're gonna do the Euros thing. Whatever.
Beautiful.
So what you got for news, man?
All right. Well, it looks like Dani Carvajal is going to extend his contract with Real Madrid.
I can see that. He had a beautiful season this year.
And it looks like he's possibly going to have a very good Euros this summer as well. I mean, he scored. He scored in the opening match. So
sir.
But it's not very clear how long the contract extension will be. But it makes sense at the age of 32 that you're going to work within 1 to 2 year intervals. You're not seeing a bigger contract. You don't see those guys past the age of 31 or 32 getting more than 2 years on a deal. But I could see him still performing at a very high level at the age of 34. Yeah. So I don't think it would really work. Why not go ahead and sign for 2 years? Because I feel like even if next season is his final season playing at the highest level, someone's willing to buy out that contract and get you some sort of payback on the contract itself. So that sounds interesting. It makes sense. I'm glad to see that for him because he seemed like one of the prime people for a replacement.
Yeah.
But now it looks like he's gonna hold down the right wing. The right wing for the fullbacks, and then on the left, you've got someone like Alphonso Davies coming in to replace Lucas Vazquez or Ferland Mendy. So, if he's going to continue playing at that level, then 32 or not, that's a very solid position for him to be in.
He's in good shape right now, especially last year, and he's always been in good shape. Just injuries kind of always messed him up, but. You would think Madrid will want to get someone a little bit younger so they can build the next generation. Yeah. Based on a young team, but I guess that's not the plan to fully just offload. Yeah. The ones that were before and just kind of slowly integrate each position by position. I think that's the plan.
And that's what they've been doing in the midfield for the past 3 years as well, and it's worked out very, very solidly for them. I think that they just noticed as well that 32 or not, the right wing is not as big of a problem as the left. Yeah. And the left is full of all younger guys as well, so they needed to really lock that down and figure out what they were going to do with that. Second up in the news is interesting. Everyone's trying to figure out where these Chelsea players are going to go.
Oh man, offload everyone.
Well, I agree, but because you've not seen, because you've not seen anybody with real cohesion in the squad, it's tough as a buyer.
Yeah, especially a lot of just stocks have dropped too.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But one of the brighter lights of their midfield, Conor Gallagher, it looks like Atletico Madrid might be interested in him.
I think Conor Gallagher is a great midfield. It's a good midfield. He's just in a bad team.
Walk that back a tiny bit. Yeah, he's a very good midfield.
Great, not good. Yeah,
yeah.
I think he's just unfortunate for him playing in that team. I mean, you can.
It's unfortunate for them all playing in that team.
You can even tell, right? There was a lot of at some point he was in the news a lot because they know he's good. Yeah, just had to figure out where he can integrate best and play the football that he can bring to the table.
And he looked like the stereotypical, and this is not a bad thing because this is what happens. I mean, especially in England, it feels like the very young English players that Bukayo Saka felt this way. Phil Foden kind of felt this way at a time, just kind of running around. Hoping for the best. It's like a lot of energy, a lot of skill once the ball's under his feet, we think. But in terms of just kind of scrambling and really hoping that the play finds him, he seems like he sort of started to adapt pretty well. He's improved a lot since he was at Norwich. He's one of the few players I think that really has kind of improved, made forward progress at Chelsea. Although you have to think and ask that question, which is probably why Atletico is so interested in him. If no one else progressed at Chelsea and he progressed, but it was just a little bit, did that stunt his growth? Where could he actually be under the right guidance? He could be a lot better than he already is. Yeah. So, good decision for them overall, I think. I mean, their midfield's a little aged. I know Savic probably doesn't have much longer, even then, and he's kind of like very indicative of Atletico and what they're all about. So yeah, I mean that makes sense, and we'll see what happens with that. But that's interesting. Manchester City do want Bruno Guimaraes, but they do not value him at 100 million, which I think you and I both agree.
It's tough.
No one's worth 100 million.
Yeah.
Whether you pay it or not doesn't matter. Like, no one's worth that. That's ridiculous. But that said, if you're looking at the other 100 million players or guys that have gone over that, I agree. He is not worth that amount of money.
No.
He's not too far off, 75 to 80, if you really want to break the bank on him and do that, and you can.
Yeah.
But it's two of the wealthiest clubs in the world haggling over a fucking $100 million player, which I don't humor that. It's like, seriously, it's like Newcastle's loaded, City's loaded. They're all arguing about a $100 million player when that's not him, but both of them could pay for him if they want to again. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, he fits in that system. City they do need a player like him.
I think so.
But man, 100 million is pretty stiff.
But yeah, that's.
And I've always admired that about City as well. Even though they have that money, they will haggle you.
Yeah.
They will argue with you over price. Like, you're not going to take them lightly, and that's where, whether you respect the club a lot or you don't, or you think that amount of money in football is kind of hurting the sport. It is interesting to see one if not the wealthiest, if you look at the books all splayed out, not just throwing cash at people blindly. Smart purchases, and even when they are smartly purchased, they're talking down prices. Like they're not wanting to spend more than they absolutely have to. And that's how they've been able to assemble a team and not just 3 or 4 very expensive players. So, but Bruno Guimaraes should fit in well. What do you think about that potential move, and what do you think that he should sell for?
I don't know. I feel like depending on how he performs, too, because your stocks is the way that goes on is how valuable are you and how good were you last season or the season that you want to be bought at for. I'll probably get a good 70, 80. I think with inflation, of course, that would be the right amount there.
Yeah, and I think
they could be valuable for City too. So
Newcastle didn't play as well as they did last season, and they're not in a position where they'll get the same opportunities that they did last season. But Guimaraes was still one of the better players consistently at all times.
Oh yeah,
and he'll also have the Copa America.
That's true. To prove. Yeah, and also I think the Copa America and the Euros, that's a lot of tipping scale for a lot of players.
Yeah.
A lot of players, a lot of unknown players, a lot of good players, a lot of bad players. So because if you perform, because the one thing about this competition that global competition, when I mean international competition, I'm talking about your World Cup, I'm talking about your Copa America, your Euro 2024, your CAN, the AFCON 20, whatever year, right? The one bad thing and the one good thing is that it exposes you, because when the season is ongoing, you have fans that just watch English, you have fans that just watch La Liga, Ligue 1, or even Serie A. But when there's none of those competitions, there's just one competition, you have more eyes tuned in. With that being said, if you have a good game, you can fool everyone. Like Amrabat did for Manchester
Enzo
United,
Fernandez, in a way,
Enzo
for
Fernandez,
Argentina,
James Rodriguez. So I think, not saying he will do that, but if he performs well in the Copa America, then the scales can be tipped in his favor, and potentially more money.
You can get a whole new pay raise from that. If it works out for you or not.
So I just think, but I think City can get a good use. I'm just interested to see how City would look next year, because I don't think City will look formidable how they look 3 years or 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think that
unless
will ever
they make good
again.
move. I know Pep Guardiola is also really good at doing this slight adjustment, taking players from there and just making him make those players work for his system.
Yeah. So next up, Manchester United are interested in Xavi Simons for 50 million, which I think is kind of cheap for him.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys that I think could go for 65 or 70 if you really pushed it, but it's the same question that you kind of ask with any higher profile, younger player that's wanting to go to Chelsea. Do you really want to go to United right now? Right now, like right now. Do you want to go right now? I don't think so.
I feel like next year might be different. The reason why I said it, I said that it is. I can see how there's gonna be a lot of adjustment because a lot of this people that had some sort of disagreement in United with the coach will not be there.
Mm.
The team will be potentially reset apart from Rashford. If he chooses to stay, it means he will have to get along with the program.
Yeah.
And getting along with the program means getting his butt to the field and actually playing, right? I think the youngest that he's bringing, I can see what he's trying to do from a far point. That's why I'm not in favor of letting him go now.
Okay.
I'm in favor of letting him do what he started. Because you see this young players that's coming in that he personally has put in the team from the academy because he can see how he can actually start playing his own system of football, right? There's also these young players that he got from, Garnacho, I forgot how you call the striker, but
Højlund.
and
Anthony. Don't forget Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But I feel like, next year United might. There's two things. Next year either they look bad and he gets sacked, or they look really good. And I feel like there's something cooking.
Okay. So I'll walk this back a tiny bit because I'm thinking of who last season kind of proved that it was their last run. Because Xavi Simons is a bit more of a midfielder.
Yeah, and I think they need him.
That's what I was kind of saying as well. If you look at, Eriksen's not.
No.
Xavi's not competing with Eriksen.
No.
He's not competing with Amrabat. If you look at this midfield, and it sounds kind of interesting. Central, you have Bruno Fernandes. On the right, you have Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah.
And on the left, you have Xavi Simons. That sounds okay to me.
So, but I'm thinking either they can do Bruno Fernandes, they can do a 3 or a diamond. So they can have Bruno Fernandes. They can
top.
have and Kobe Mainoo just right beside him, or if not just under him, and they can have just at that center Xavi Simons because he's good at that, and they both know how to carry the ball.
Yeah,
and potentially might get Silva more leeway to actually do what he can do at the top. So that's what I'm thinking.
And they're feeding the ball up to Garnacho and to Højlund.
Because Højlund's problem is actually feeding.
Yeah, that's true. He's good.
The next problem that prompted that problem is because Silva has to be doing a lot of things, which he's not supposed to do, because you're taking away from something that he's really good at. Right? On the left, if Rashford gets his act together, you actually have a team.
I guess. And that's a lot of assuming, though.
Yeah, no, assuming that goes well, because we don't know, I feel like, I don't know, probably some he can think, because there's one thing or two, right? Either he leaves or he gets his act together. Because guess what? The coach is going to find someone to be on that side.
He could also just pout and stay on the bench until January.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Then you have left back and right back. Because I think, like I said, United will be also an interesting team to see the development, because I feel like the coach is cooking. We just got to give him... Because... what was the latest news? It was Southgate, rumors, and whatnot. But at the end, they finally, I feel like they will stick with him. So yeah, I'll let the coach do at least one run or 5 months.
Yeah, they need to figure out their center backs though.
Yeah, the center backs are the
that's their biggest issue right now, and they've slowly fixed other things. But yeah, man, that's rough. So.
Looking at this, talking about United, right? Before we get to the other news, John Obi Mikel, he played for Chelsea. So he was saying, N'Golo Kante shouldn't play in France because France has the best midfielder right now, and he has no place in there.
Bold.
And he said N'Golo Kante cannot be considered one of the best because he just had he should not play for France because they have the best midfielder, and he was just good for 2 or 3 years. Then the next thing he said, at the same time saying all that bullcrap, is Rodri is the best midfielder and will go down in the history as the best midfielder, better than Casemiro. And he said another midfielder better than Casemiro too. I understand recency bias, but I think that's a bold accusation. It's a statement.
Yeah, I
mean, because Rodri was good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's better than Casemiro. I don't. Because Casemiro, people are forgetting because you saw Casemiro in his final days in United.
Yep.
And that's why I say recency bias, especially in this era where it's weird. You have more information, but you have less logic.
Oh, that's not just in sports. That's in arts and culture. That's in all media.
So,
and
right.
like I'm dealing with that on every single front of my life.
Because
and it's
you forget
ridiculous.
Casemiro of 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
You forget about Cruz, Modric, and Casemiro being the best trio
Yeah.
in the world.
And you say, now let's say you never know, Rodri probably got good years in him. He probably can finish at the end of his career. But right now, that's what he's saying. Then you say, well, Kante cannot because he has 2 or 3 years. Well, I'm not refusing the statement of 2 or 3 years, but I'm not saying that he shouldn't be selected because there's a reason why they brought him. I was telling you, right? When you look at the World Cup, the midfield wasn't solid.
Yeah.
The French midfield was the problem, actually. The midfield wasn't solid. Although Camavinga is good, although Tchouaméni is good, although Kuku, although all these guys, but there's something that Kante brings that they don't bring.
Yeah.
It's locking up all these little balls that will pass in that central midfield, and that's what he just did this game. 73 touches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's like, and like we've had that conversation about Real Madrid as well. Like the reason that it's going so smoothly, the transition, is because rarely is are Camavinga, Valverde, and Tchouaméni all out there together. You have someone like Cruz or Modric in there somewhere helping organize the tempo.
Yeah.
And like these young players are great and they can stand on their own individually, but they need some sort of leadership still. They do let a lot of risky things happen. Sometimes you feel like they don't quite understand the high stakes at times because they're so young and they're used to just running and gunning, and the experience hasn't yet set in for them to understand and really be able to identify the big moments of those matchups. So they'll need somebody like that, like a Conte, or if it was 2018, a Pogba as well.
If you had someone like that, that's why I'm saying that I understand recency bias, but a lot of people, you have to look at times. Now, if you say Camavinga is great than another midfielder that is playing in the same time, they start at the same time, like you can say good, better than either Declan Rice. This is just an example, right? But now I can see how we can make that a conversation and debate on it. But you can't say,
and he's not better than Declan Rice.
You can't just say, oh, well, he cannot be on the same level as N'Golo Kante can be on that. N'Golo Kante won a Champions World Cup. They don't have it yet. And he won the Champions League. They don't have it. Well, they have a Champions League, but they didn't put that amount of effort in
and he won a Premier League
internationally.
He won a Premier League outside of the Big Six, which is impossible.
So, and that's how he was. That's how he was brought from Leicester to Chelsea because of what he did. So I think sometimes we have to look.
That's bold.
We have to really look thoroughly before we can make all this statement. Now,
well, and the just making one general statement. That recency bias is one of those same things where, like, you and I've had the conversation. People saying that Virgil van Dijk is one of the best 5 center backs in the Premier League history. I still don't believe that. I don't think he's too far away from the top 5. But people just get really
actually, I can get
they get really up in arms.
The
about
best
it.
5. What they said. Who said that recently? And that's another person, another old where he's appointed now. But he said 5 best in the world. That's my problem. In the Premier League, I can see him doing the last 5. Like top 5, he's probably the 5th. But I don't see him in the
ever. Yeah.
In the history of the world, you talking the world. There's so many center backs in the world.
Well,
and someone make the whole debate was, well, the game has evolved. I was like, I don't buy this game evolvement thing. I'll say, well, I'm not refusing that the game has evolved, but let's not sit here and act like in the 2000 people were not fast.
Right.
So
just because they know a few more stretching techniques doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden mild.
No, I don't.
No, and I do think that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. The amount of trophies in the cabinet makes up for a lot of things. I mean, in a purely physical standpoint, Virgil van Dijk is a more physical athlete than John Terry, obviously.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, because you're instrumental in procuring those trophies. You're not the only guy out there, but you're part of the squad that's making it done. So I do understand looking at somebody's individual skill and quality and physicality in their position and giving them more grace than other guys that maybe were part of just an absolutely insane squad.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you start looking at some of the guys that he's supposed to be better than, and it gets kind of tough.
Yeah.
It gets kind of tough. There's a lot of titles in the way. There's a lot of, you might be more physical than Salt Campbell, but not by a lot. Like, Salt Campbell's a motherfucker, you start really having to like cherry pick certain things to bring him up, because I do think that every contemporary moment in history, like regardless of, because every moment was the present at some point in time.
Yeah.
In the present, you have this underlying feeling of needing to validate the current because it's what you are living in. It's a way, honestly, of kind of validating your own existence. Which, we don't need to get too philosophical, but like you want to be able to feel like you are watching the sport in its best era. So you're wanting to kind of cherry pick and pad things out because you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time watching a lackluster era of anything.
So if you had to, I guess probably at some point we'll have the discussion on who was the best 5 center backs in the Premier League.
That's what we'll do after the Euros.
But there's also a lot of factors. For me, I think I can see him in Premier League, but I just can't see in the world. That's my thing, because in the world there's so many.
Definitely not the world, yeah.
Yeah, the world. I mean, I understand the argument, because at some point, don't get me wrong, as a centre back, he was one of the fastest centre back. At some point, he was, even Rodriguez, really fast. People don't even understand that. But at some point, Van Dijk with that size was fast as a winger.
Well, because he was originally a striker.
Oh, that's true.
When he played as a kid,
true.
So like,
because I remember that 2019, dude, I would play him on FIFA anytime. I would just wait for you to
Van Dijk coming down the wing,
try to sprint. Then you would just feel Van Dijk beside you. But what's the next news for us?
No, and then we'll close this bullshit out. So
we got
Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah.
So Napoli have made it very clear this summer that he's not for sale, which is fine. I mean, because he's under contract until 2027, so it's your prerogative to not sell him if you don't want to. But the way that a lot of the articles and a lot of the news, the press releases from Napoli were that Kvaratskhelia was on board with this, that he was happy to stay in the team, that he was wanting to be part of the rebuild with Conte. It wasn't until the past couple of days or so that Kvaratskhelia agent has been pretty vocal about him wanting out.
Yeah.
Which it's one of those, Napoli's press, I don't know what's going on with them, but the last couple of years they've been very, very Italian, which is, I mean, they are Italian, I get it, but like a lot of underlying like dirty tactics and lying about news and like keeping agents quiet and feeding just bullshit news, but then it gets out later and they're like, oh no. And so this is what it looks like. I mean, if he's unhappy, Victor Osimhen's on his way out, obviously. If Kvaratskhelia is on his way out, and Anguissa, Zielinski, and Lobotka are not clicking like they did the year that they won the title, because they did not, even though they were all three in the mix this past season. Kim Min-jae is gone. You still have guys like Raspadori and Di Lorenzo and whatnot, but it's obviously not that same Napoli squad that's going to contend for the title. That was a one-off season. Where could Kvaratskhelia go as a left winger? Because he's pretty skilled with both feet. Yeah. But he tends to be more of a left forward, left winger position. Where does he go? Who kind of needs him? But like where could he be interested in going? And like would it be worth it to stay for one more season, or do you just this could be the contract drama of the summer essentially? Yeah.
Well, depending on how Napoli, because if I'm a player, I'm thinking, depending, like if I'm already there in my prime and I'm at the top, because at the top that's where you get the most money. At the end of the day, everyone was saying that last time that the club build these things, this contract for depend on loyalty. I don't buy that in a sense, because football it's a profession. So some players are there to make money. Yeah. I saw Cotter, he used to play for Tottenham. This is what he said. He said, sometimes I didn't even know we were playing. I was just there for the money. Yeah.
So some guys that play don't even actually like the sport that much. Yeah. They're like, whatever, man.
So if I'm him, I'm thinking, if I stay, what's the state of the club? Do we have plans to actually be good next year? Yeah. And if we don't, and my stock is still high.
Yeah.
If I want to win trophies, or even if I want to get the better deal out of my prime and my stock right now, what should I do?
Yeah. Well, and
I'm leaving.
Even if you're one of the guys that just wants the paycheck, that doesn't really care about who they're playing or what. Napoli's not the club, the destination club for a big pay grade.
Yeah.
You know, like there are places that you could go.
Yeah.
And get much more money.
Definitely.
Even if you don't give a shit about the schedule, you don't give a shit about, you know, the domestic or European competitions.
Yeah.
If you're just wanting to go for a pay raise, there are other clubs out there. You know who I really think could use a left winger, and he would also get more money in the process and would kind of get him up to that platform where it looks like he deserves to be?
Where?
Liverpool.
Okay, I can see. Well, they have a left wing though.
Luis Diaz?
Yeah.
Mm.
I just think I think Liverpool need a good finisher.
Mm.
So Luis Diaz will just be a creator because he can create, he can dribble, he can take that whole thing. I mean, I saw him playing against City.
Now, keep in mind that Kvaratskhelia can play the right wing as well. Do you kind of bring him in?
Then I can do that.
A soft break for Mohamed Salah, because
yes, I can do that because Salah is getting at that age.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And then you just have Nunes.
you
have Darwin Nunes in the middle, and you got to deal with that.
The new coach is wanting to keep him, but I know what he's trying to do. Well, I wouldn't say I know, but I'm thinking this is what he wants to.
Yeah.
Because he's coming in, instead of revamping the whole thing just at once, you start the process bit by bit.
Yeah.
So you still keep the guys that made the team, just so we can keep some sort of cohesion. But in the process, I'm bringing in new blood. So I will bring Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. He is younger, and he can learn from Salah. He can adapt in the Premier League that year.
And if you could somehow figure out how to bring Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney in to clean up in
Liverpool?
The middle. Yeah. I mean, because they need a finisher.
If I'm Watkins, I would go, because guess what? I'm going to big club.
If I was,
money,
if I was either one of them, I would go.
Yeah,
I would like.
Toney is interesting. I haven't heard him in the news. Well, the Mercato is not yet open. Probably when it opens, we might hear more of him, because Toney is a good hybrid, someone that can create and can score. These are people you don't often see. I feel like a club should pick him up, and he would do great at that club.
I agree. Well. That's it for the news and rumors. Let's talk about these fucking Euros.
Well, same thing. Let's talk about the Euros. But before we talk about the Euros, guess what?
What?
The Euros are doing something interesting.
Okay.
New rules, semi-automated VAR. Sneeko technology.
Explain. Like I saw that in passing, but I don't know much about it. What's going on with that?
So first of all, one thing that they bring, no more long stoppage time. In the World Cup, a lot of people were complaining. Let's cheer for that.
Nothing kills the crowd and the players like that long sit down wait.
Because it gives the game becomes so elongated. Then there's more things that can happen.
It becomes the NFL.
It's not. Then what they're trying to they're trying to do is keep it on the, I think, unlike the World Cup or the Premier League, there were long stoppage times. Euros, they don't want to do that, so they want to keep it to a certain amount. That's why you will see probably 4-5 minutes, but I think they don't want to stretch it more than 1 minute or something like that. So now the next thing is, which I like. It's weird that it took them so long, because one referee used to do this. Only captains can speak to the refs.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you get a card, you're probably getting a yellow card.
Yeah.
It's crazy that...
Because that drives me nuts. And you know what? That's one thing that Americans that watch the sport, they don't understand how they get away with that. Like, everyone like crowding him and like kind of bumping him at times. And they're like, dude, if you did that in the NFL... they'll have your ass. Like, you don't get to do that kind of stuff. Same thing
in NBA, but that's also why they're saying the refs are soft in the NBA. But you know what's crazy?
Like, don't touch the refs.
the after a decision is made, the only person that can speak to the ref is the captain.
I like that a lot.
But Colina, I think he's the president of the Ref Association or International.
Yeah.
You gotta watch some of his highlights. This guy was crazy. We'll probably at some point react to this guy.
Okay.
Although he cost Cameroon a World Cup, but he's the best ref ever considered. As soon as you guys come as bees or yellow card, he just starts. He don't give F.
I like that. Yep.
And when he was there and when he was refereeing, players, even your most dangerous players that you know of, like the Baggio, the Materazzi, all this, they won't dare talk to him. Yeah, because they know.
Okay, sir. Okay, yes, sir.
And he, just the face. He looked like a Russian hitman. Just he didn't. He never smiled to nothing was funny to him.
He cracked a smile for a couple of red cards that he gave. That was it, though. That's funny.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That'll keep a lot of that congestion away. It happens really bad in the Italian league.
Yeah.
Where they just it's like 8 guys just crowding him. And you're like, this does not look good to me.
Okay. The next thing is semi-automated VAR, which means what? It means the ref will be notified, or the officials will automatically notify if there is an offside decision. So instead of waiting, doing all this, so the notification will come before you can, I guess, probably go and look. But even the famous horizontal lines will be drawn by the technology already, and the match officials don't need to do so manually. So when the line that draws the offside, the refs that are in the backs, wherever that's there, they draw it with the software. But apparently with the new thing, it will draw it automatically. They might be using from some sort of AI. But the thing is to cut on time, so we don't have to stay there, wait for all these things. Because if you're going to keep the game under a certain minute, you also have to account for this, because those things took a lot of times. Stadiums to show detailed explanation of VAR decision. I think the MLS will love that one. Because I watched one game. The ref went VAR and he came explain like in football this that a lot of people, it went viral, right? And they were like, what the hell is that?
Well because you and I have been to several MLS games. I don't actually know how many that you've been to, but one of the biggest things that you'll hear in the crowd, aside from chants and aside from the drums being played, is every couple of seconds so wait, what was that? What did that mean? Why did he do that? Because it's not our popular sports. Like, a lot of people that go to those games do not know the rules. They don't know the sort of sign language or verbiage or terminology. So you're right. MLS fans will love that.
So if you're sitting at home watching the game and there's a VAR decision, you might see the referee doing, coming over, he might have the microphone on or whatever, and he will explain in detail what happened to the fans and to the people at home. This is to increase VAR transparency. And for the fans to have some sort of IP, it's like, okay, now we understand, or we get it, or we don't get it because you explained too well and it don't make sense.
And as long as the explanation doesn't take like 2 minutes to break down, or like they're having to be like commentators and be like, well, see, what happened was this and that. Like, it needs to be very clear, like very, very procured terminology, like the NFL, holding, 5-yard penalty, but like if you just bump and get out and not over explain or stutter through it, I'm fine with that.
The next thing is Sneeko technology, connect the balls. It means technology will add motion sensing microchip in the Adidas football or match balls, or
to detect out of bounds,
you want to call it.
To detect out of bounds, is that what that would be for?
It can track out of bounds, but you can also track if the ball connected or touch your hand. So now we will definitely know if you're trying to pull a Maradona on anyone.
I mean, these are all, again, as long as it doesn't become over reliant or cumbersome. As long as we're not like, we'll stand by on the field, the microchip's having a technical issue, we're gonna see we're gonna cut the ball open and figure it out.
I would really love to deep dive into this to understand, because the ball is touching your feet at every time. So how does it differentiate between your feet and your hands? And the idea is, sometimes when you're in the penalty box and your hands are probably off your body, and someone shoots and it just kind of touches your hands and deflect, but it's so quick that the ref might not see, or the camera might not pick it up, or even if the camera pick it up, seeing it from various angles, there's gonna be a lot of discussion or debate. But with this, if it does that, it's gonna pick it up and it's gonna show exactly at the moment you touch
It'll be like the internal clock of the chip in the ball will be synced up with the play clock. And they'll probably sync it to where it runs back. It has like a little motion sensor or pressure sensor. So when they're watching the replay in tandem, it's got a secondary monitor that's the pressure. So it's like, we didn't see any contact, but this picked up contact, and his arm is in the way. So it's like, but then it might be a little speculative. I don't know. Like it's all good things, under the pretense that it works perfectly.
Perfect, yeah.
And that was what the issue with VAR was as well. It's like everything that you're telling me on paper, this sounds great.
Yeah.
But now everything has to be perfect all the time, and it's not going to be. And if it's not going to be, then what is it going to be? And what it was a clusterfuck.
That's why I think the explaining to the crowd will help. And
explain to me the bullshit.
Yeah,
explain your way out of this one now. Yeah.
I feel like Premier League might bring that too.
Mm-hmm.
They might be like, because they had a lot of backlash, and they voted and chose to stick with VAR for next season too. So, yeah. Moving on, we had the first round of the Euros.
We're not completely through the first round, but I think Portugal's group plays tomorrow. Tomorrow, but the overwhelming bulk is done. Yeah.
But at this point, you sitting at home watching the game, or you just as a fan
sitting on your ass. I'm kidding.
Will have an idea by this time of who have the potential to win it or to win it all. I think Germany, as a super team, in a sense, showed amongst all the other super teams that we claimed or that was hyped about. I think Germany is the only one for now that's living up to the super team. 5-1 against, because as a super team, if people consider you have the best players or good players on the field, you gotta destroy your opponent that is not on that level in terms of individual talent. There's no playing around.
And they're gonna regret that one goal concession though.
Yeah,
5-0 looks pretty solid, and it's just like I don't know. That was a bummer, but yes, they are playing.
They are playing the
well.
game.
And I think that Spain looked very good as well. Though.
Oh yeah, Spain looked very well
in terms of because they did not beat Scotland. They beat Croatia. And Croatia did not look great, although they had a couple of opportunities. Like they could have done better. It wasn't that they played absolutely horrendously in terms of like no opportunities or nothing.
Yeah,
they had opportunities and they made those opportunities. It wasn't due to massive errors from the Spanish squad. They had opportunities out there. They just couldn't close them down. And it wasn't just the forwards' fault, but it wasn't like it was a complete and utter catastrophe. They had little nuggets of opportunity in there, but they didn't make the most of them, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but they could climb their way back out, I think.
I think they played very well. Cucurella is my guy, actually. I like the guy.
I can't stand him.
I can't stand him. What was that?
He's got
the hair?
No.
He's got that Spanish thing.
His attitude his attitude as he plays. I can't stand him. He's one of those guys that you're at home going, I don't care about a red card. Someone deck this motherfucker. Like that's the guy that everyone on the bench is like, just get in there, just get a boot in his face. Come on.
As you said, but the thing is that Spain played very well, but I didn't see, not that they didn't destroy the opponent how they supposed to do, but I didn't see that thing in Yamal did great. He's 16. He's doing.
I thought Alvaro Morata looked okay too.
He did good. Yeah. I'm just going off of they did pretty much well across on average. That's the thing. But there was not one guy in there that was like, oh, we know this guy is one of the emerging talent and he's there. It's like looking like France today. Mbappe didn't bring that sparkle of Mbappe because he is there already. So we cannot expect that Mbappe every time. It's like the Ronaldo and the Ronaldos and the Messis. Once you, I guess because no one in that team is at that level yet. They're reaching the gate, and Yamal in 4 years might get there.
Yeah, like Germany had some standout players.
That's why
and Spain, they all looked like they were at a certain singular level. However, they were playing a more difficult team as well. So it's like, you do have to keep in mind that Germany looked very flashy against Scotland and Spain dominated Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there is room in that Spanish squad for guys to step up.
Yeah.
But overall, as a single unit, they looked pretty solid. But I would not want to face them at all.
I feel like they have a more they're more, how will I say, system-based playing well. But individually, because that German team,
Florian Wirtz is wild, man.
That German team, because it's the same thing that happened in 2014. They said, well, the first game, I forgot who they played. They said, well, it wasn't a great team. Then they made a great team, and the great team suffered. But I'm saying, like, when you look at France today, France didn't bring it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, if you did watch,
Kante brought it.
Kante brought it. He brought it. He was everywhere. You know what they say?
He brought other people's.
70% of the earth is covered by land, and the rest is all by water, and the rest is covered by Kante.
Yep.
So he bought it. But the final third is your problem. A lot of hesitation, bad decision making, and they had the opportunity. They had the opportunity to win by 5 actually, because Mbappe missed one. Griezmann could have sent an open wide. Nobody was in his way. Pass in the box, he didn't.
Oh, back up really fast because you just glossed over it. Mbappe missed. Explain what happened. Explain what that shot was.
Mbappe missed.
Break it down. Because he didn't just miss. That's not a miss to me.
No.
That's something else entirely.
I know. Well, if you didn't put it in, you missed. There's no.
No, but that was a catastrophic miss.
Yeah. Well, that kind of mess is like for his character of player, you cannot miss those things. He was shocked, but I saw the game because he thought it was actually a bad ball. He sprinted took the ball, position
one-on-one with the
well.
keeper.
He hesitated. He didn't hesitate, so he did the first touch so he can put it in, and he was supposed to finesse that ball on the second side. He didn't.
Yep. Yeah, he melts his defender. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He gets extra touches to get it into the space to put it in the top corner. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do. He knows what he's supposed to do.
He knows heavy kick.
Man, that was wild to see.
He just put it on the side, but at least he's still the reason they won. So that's the thing. That's what I mean. But I want the Mbappe that I saw in the World Cup that I see in the season. Griezmann, same thing. Yeah. Thuram didn't do great, and he had the opportunity to do great.
Griezmann lost a fight with the ad board.
Yeah, Griezmann.
He got smacked in the face by a fucking ad board. That was awesome.
They were bleeding blood. I don't understand what happened.
Cool.
But Maignan,
heavyweight matchup.
Was that Maignan? Yeah, the goalkeeper.
Filet Maignan.
He's doing good. Yeah. But like I said, if you look at the French squad, they're supposed to have the best talent. So I want to see the best talent playing. I want to see how they play. I want to see that thing that I'm not saying. Yeah. Only for me right now, only Germany bought it. Now I'm talking about England. And I would say this, if you didn't see me, say it now, you will get it.
Okay. Help me get it.
I've never in my life put England in any international competition high. I don't know why. English players and media, they're the problem. They don't understand. And they don't understand why they never win.
Yeah.
Yes, you have players, but you can't play. You just can't. There's always a hype about it.
It's coming home.
It's never gonna come home. First of all, I think fire Southgate.
Well, yeah.
The next thing will be
that's been 4 years.
I've understood, and to be honest, England right now have the most talented player. I'm not saying the greats yet or the good, but in terms of generation, because they have the most talented player at each pretty much each position. If you want to think about it, I understand Bellingham is playing that 10 position. But if you bring in Foden, you can't put him on the left wing.
Yeah.
He had 0 touches. The impact on his wing was, I think, 7% because they all went to Saka.
Yeah.
So
people were actually making the statement that before the game started that you should drop Bellingham for Foden in that central area.
What I would do,
and that's just not how that would work. I think
it wouldn't work because Bellingham have this whole thing. It's the bubble now.
Yes.
And another thing is that you might want to disagree or agree. Once a player enters into his bubble, he might have a bad game, but it's not gonna be seen because he's the guy right now.
Yeah.
And as an English player too, you playing on English, team and whatever. You can't just bench him like that because if something happens, the media is gonna crucify your butt.
Yeah.
But I think there's room for them to play in there. But Foden cannot play on that left wing.
I agree.
He cannot.
Yeah.
Because he don't know what the hell was happening.
It's not quite a one or other, like in or out. It's more of a rearranging of the formation, I think.
Yes, I think if you rearrange it very good, you can get them both on that side, and they can both play in the middle.
And we can both agree that Alexander-Arnold is not a midfielder, right?
No.
Go ahead and do that. He had 1 or 2 good passes, but he gave up a lot in the midfield.
He gave up a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I feel like England can really bring it. England, they just gotta fix whatever is going on.
They have the players.
They do have
their
the
tactics
players.
and their formation changes are not working.
So I will definitely fix that if I'm on Southgate. I think they can.
Does he know how? I don't think he knows how.
That's the thing, because I will either rearrange it to have a I don't know, 4-2-2-3 or something like that, where I can, because Bellingham brings that thing that he will either be the reason why you score or score himself. Because he knows how to find spaces, good time.
He did exactly what we've talked about all season.
Yeah,
that
he's
headed
still
goal,
doing that.
Exactly what it was.
Right? But you have Kane. I think Bellingham, the one thing that he still hasn't improved on, and he's just 20-21 years. He will improve on it. I'm pretty sure. Is feeding.
Yeah.
Your striker.
Yep.
He don't know when to win or when, and the timing is always off. I think that's the only thing he has to improve.
Yeah.
Then you have Foden that can do that, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's why I say if you put them two in the middle, you can have a good combination. You can have a good partnership, and you can also have Kane. Clicking.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about,
because you have Kane. Kane will score.
Yeah.
The ball just got to get to him. But Gay wasn't bad, but he did a lot of mistakes. Stones is still doing Stones thing. He's still doing it. Walker,
yeah.
Trippier, Kobe Mano, the team. Like I said, they have a great team. I just want those talents to be brought out and not to stay in the cage.
Yeah, I think that Manu needs to kind of stay in that CDM role in place of Alexander-Arnold and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know why they put him. That's why I say, man, this coach, I don't get him. But I understand why, because you have Walker too.
But if you look at it though, I mean, like, that's what a lot of Liverpool fans have been expecting to see from Alexander-Arnold as well. Sort of accepting the fact that he's not a right back, bring him into the midfield. I'm not saying that it's a great idea, but it's a popular idea in terms of, like, this might be the solution for his defensive issues. Bring him up a little bit more into the attacking positions.
Yeah.
I've never agreed with that personally.
I would say probably inverted fullback. That's probably where
and that's what they're trying. They're trying to go ahead and get him in that position so that he doesn't have to track back for the defense.
Yes.
I get that, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you gotta accept that.
I would probably put Mano there then.
Yeah, I agree.
Because at least I feel like Mano, but you might compensate for the physicality, because in that side it's really physical, because they will be pounding on you. The opponent will be passing through the midfield. But like I said, we don't know. You never try, because Mano has played 4 games already in the Premier League, so he can do it.
Yeah, why don't this formation doesn't make sense to me, and this formation is suggesting either Bellingham or Foden. One must stay. Because Anthony Gordon probably needs to be on that left wing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And for that to happen, Foden has to go. But there's a way to rearrange this thing to where Bellingham and Foden can be there together, but Foden's not on that wing.
Yeah, we can do a 4-3. We can still have that 3, right? Where you have someone on the left wing. You have Foden, then you have Saka. But now, since Foden is there, you have Bellingham just a little bit behind him.
Yeah.
Then you have your CDM. So it's all about, because the players you have, you gotta just make the formation work. Nowadays, there's so many weird formations, so you can make it work.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you do have so many talented players, and you feel encouraged not only by the quality that you're seeing, by the players themselves, but the fans, to be able to incorporate all of them. Really, the only thing that we're seeing is the conversation about those two. Yeah. You can make this thing work. Maybe you drop Bellingham back a tiny bit to where there's a 3-man back, and you squeeze Saka and Foden up a little bit so they're not on the wing so much, and they're still a bit more central. I don't know. I'm not the fucking coach.
What do you think has the best kit?
Best kits?
So far.
Those German kits are pretty wild, man.
Yeah, I feel it.
Reminds you of sherbet ice cream on the sides. I like sherbet ice cream.
German got a good kit going on.
And then I like the French away kits.
Yeah,
the kind of cream with the pinstripe. They look like the Yankees, old school Yankees.
I don't like the home. Well, the kit that they wore today with the stripes. Oh, that's what you.
I like that one.
You like that?
Yeah. It reminds me of classic baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Because it reminds me of the old days. Probably that's why.
I like that. I like the baggy kits, and I don't like. I like the Spanish kits when they're predominantly red and gold. Mm-hmm. I don't like when they incorporate blues into it. Like I get it, but I don't know. I've never really cared for that. They'll do those blue shorts occasionally. Not a fan, but
that makes sense. I can get
but yeah,
behind that.
the German and the French Yankees. I like those a lot. Those are cool.
Yeah, and the Copa America is coming too, so stay tuned, guys. Man, there's a game in the US next year. This Friday actually.
Yep. Yeah.
Saturday, Thursday. The 20th?
One of those days for sure.
I think yeah.
I
but
forget the
just
exact
saying,
starting day.
just we're gonna keep up with that too.
Hell yeah.
When do you think the US started playing the Copa America?
See what?
When do you think that the US started playing Copa America? Because Copa America went on before them.
Well,
without them.
Yeah, I don't know the exact.
1993.
Okay,
this is fairly recent.
Yeah.
Do you think
sure.
they got a shot? I think US has the best, not the best, but they have in the history of US since I've kind of followed their national team.
Yeah,
they have one of the greatest football generation, talented.
Yeah, of their nation.
Of their nation.
Yes,
yeah.
I do. Oh, that's pretty objective. This is one of the best U.S. squads that they've had.
Oh yeah, by far.
Did you see them in their friendly against Brazil?
Yeah, I watched the highlight. I didn't
They looked
watch all
all
of it.
right, man.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they looked okay.
Okay.
Brazil wasn't playing full capacity, but I mean, it's a friendly, but it's one of those friendlies that it's not quite so friendly because you're both entering the same competition. You're kind of getting a preview of the competition. So it's not just a random matchup with Iceland or something. It's
and another thing for people like Brazil, because Brazil with the history, we always put them on such a pedestal. So if you come and lose to US, taking it easy or not, we're gonna be like, come on, bro. And if you're the US, you come and draw and you win, we're gonna be like, we have a squad. But losing against Colombia 5-0, that was the wildest thing ever. Because you have your player, objectively better than a lot, than the Colombian squad. But the coach, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, you have and most of the players we know, because back in the days you used to look at the roster, you're like, I don't know, no one. But you got a good team Weah, Pulisic, Magny,
Robinson.
All these guys that I know, and you're thinking, what can I accomplish with this players? I think you can accomplish well. I think you can even go far, depending on how you play. Because they play, most of them, if not 50 or 60% of the team play in Europe. Yeah. So they play at a good competition level. Some of them are starters, meaning that they can keep up. So how are you gonna bring all this to life when you play?
Would you consider yourself now a secondary supporter of the U.S. club team?
Yeah, if I'm here. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for them.
Would you carry that with you? If you were to leave the States, would you still have that secondary support?
The U.S.
Because you spent so much time there, would you still feel like, as long as it didn't interfere with Cameroon, that you're like, go from afar. Yeah.
It's weird because I'm not like a deep supporter. I don't carry stuff in my heart. Like, I can support you today, tomorrow. Nah, I think another thing. But I can see that too, because I've been here for a long time. 7 years. So basically, this is my second home. Yeah. I haven't been home for a long time, so this is home for me.
Well, because that's the way that it goes a lot with Americans that move across the country for work or something. Yeah. You grew up in Kansas City, so maybe from baseball, you're a Kansas City Royals fan, but you're moving to Pittsburgh for work. That's the only baseball team around, so you start going to the games. And you're like, I'm kind of a Pirates fan, kind of, and then all of a sudden, because it's the only one that's around you, your friends that are in Pittsburgh are fans. So it's you kind of end up having that secondary kind of support group for it. So, so you would say at this moment that you're like a,
in soccer or football, however you want to call it, but any international competition that concerns teams, I always go. If there's not Cameroon, depending if it's like Copa America, I always go either soccer, either the US now. But back in the days, even when I just got here, I would go either Brazil, because I grew up playing the game too, so Brazil was the reference for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can really, you had people like Ronaldinho who made you love the game, not not like the game, love the game, because he was playing with such finesse, such beauty.
It wasn't even about liking him or even liking the team. It was like he made you just like the sport itself more, because you're seeing somebody do these things and it inspires the entire game itself.
So that was pretty much what I was. But sure. Yeah, I would definitely support the US. Like the opening game, I think it's the US that's opening against Argentina, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I'm supporting the US, but I know a lot of people.
No, they have Uruguay in their group.
They're Uruguay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, ooh, I would have remembered that.
But like nonetheless, I'll be US supporter, because and the good thing about now is like I know a lot of the players. Even back in the days, I wasn't supporting when I was in Cameroon. I wasn't supporting the US per se, but because I was a lot more in the football scene, I knew always one or two play. Like I knew the goalkeeper was like Tim Howard, or is it Tim Howard or Howard? But I know his name is Howard. He's Howard in there, but stuff like that. So,
yeah. Okay.
Oh, even the guy that's always on the how you call him? Oh man, he's a pundit now. I think he said, "Do you know where I'm from?" He said it to Thierry Henry or something. You gotta know that guy.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, the keeper.
Is he keeper?
No. Hold on. No, because it's not Landon Donovan, obviously. Man, because he was an East Coast legend.
He played in England too.
Yeah. Shit. Oh man, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, hold on. Clint Dempsey.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I'm from the streets or some bullshit like that. I love it.
So
it's great. Good shit.
That's the thing too.
Thierry's just like, the fuck you talking about? It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. But
I do have some news that just broke while we were recording. If you're interested in hearing this.
Yeah, what's going on?
Mbappe broke his nose and needs surgery.
Freaking hell.
Yeah.
I think he will still play. No, surgery is not that big.
He'll have the Phantom of the Opera mask on.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still got like. That's the thing, though. It's like the recovery time for it's not too bad before you have to put the mask on. But I mean, you're playing like every 3 days, so he might not play the next
game.
He might not play the next game. And who do they have in the next game? Can you check that really fast while I'm looking at this?
Yeah, I think they have. Who even played in your group?
Don't worry, Jordan. I'll pull it up. Jesus.
Yeah, the next game might be either Poland or Austria. They have Netherlands in their group. Wow.
It's not an easy group.
Netherlands is good, and Poland.
He's likely to miss the Netherlands game.
Yeah.
It's in 4 days, I think.
Netherlands.
I know.
This is tough, man.
That's a really unfortunate thing to happen for him.
I think the coach might bring all the Kammervingers, everyone on that stage, because Netherlands has a good squad, and Cody Gakpo keeps scoring at every international every competition. So.
So then who? Okay, let's take a look at this really fast, and then we'll probably need to wrap up pretty soon because how do we always go long even when we have light episodes? It makes me very curious here. Let's look at the forwards. Who is likely to replace Mbappe on that left wing?
On that left wing?
Because he insists. Well, he actually played as
he didn't play left wing.
He played as a 9 today.
Yeah, that's why
which is interesting.
I know. That's why I keep telling you guys that you guys are seeing the left or the right a problem. I don't see that problem, because if you see how they play him, even in PSG, there were times that he wasn't left or right. I think they might play him as just as a guy in front, where he can come from the left, because he's so fast and agile.
Come from the left.
He can
come from the right.
Yep.
Come from anywhere.
Probably like the first 9.
So who in this setup? Because it's interesting.
I think they might bring Colomwani.
That's what I was gonna say. It's interesting though, because my number 1 pick, if you like made me decide like the attacking midfielder, the false 9, that kind of creative in the front line, I would say Nkunku. But he's not in their squad at all.
No, they might bring Colomwani.
Surprising to me.
Or Giroud.
Would you rather have Giroud or Colomwani before Christopher Nkunku?
I would rather.
Because let's pretend that he's in this squad, because he's not, so he can't be there.
Yeah.
But if he was there, do you want that pace up front to kind of compete with Mbappe's pace? And because Giroud is a great striker, but
Colomwani has space too.
Yeah, but not as much as Nkunku though.
all goes back to technique. How I don't know. I feel like Coco will be good, but Colomani is also good.
You don't think he's better than Nkuku, do you?
Colomani, I don't think
at this point.
At this point now,
Nkuku's better.
Not in that squad, because it depends on, because you might say Kante is not better.
I wouldn't say that. I think he is better.
No, I mean, a lot of people will look at it and say Kante is not better than Camavinga Tchouaméni, because guess what? We saw Camavinga and Tchouaméni play at the biggest stage this season, because it's all about how the team plays.
Yeah.
Because it's not how you have in your club.
Oh, I know.
It's the same thing as when they take Rodri, Bellingham. I think Foden, I always say Foden, they have to find the spot in that midfield for him to play. You can't just play him on the left wing.
I think that Nkuku kind of is the closer of the matchup to replace Mbappe. Like what does Mbappe do? I think that Nkuku does those things better than Mawani does.
Okay.
Personally.
But playing as a 9 though, because Mbappe is not there as a 9. He's there as a forward. Yeah. Well, when I say forward, he's there as someone that can come from the left, from the right, from the 9. You know what I mean?
I know.
Unless Kuku can do that, then you say that would be the best option. But if Kuku can't do that, he will go for a straight 9 that don't have to track back, like a pure 9 will be Colomani. You see what I'm saying? Where you have your left back, Thuram feeding, you have your Dembele on the side feeding. But now the thing is, I want to really look at efficiency. I haven't looked too much at games that Kuku has played, how efficient
he hasn't been able to that much because he's lost in that Chelsea bullshit where
that's what I'm saying.
No one gets good minutes.
Now, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Colomani
but if you have Thuram, Dembele, and Griezmann all feeding this guy that's fluidly moving around, and your job, like Mbappe's, is basically to just ride that line and use that 15 yards of pace to just get in behind the defenders. I think so. I think that he has that quicker pace. I think that he's used to running down balls that are over the top, riding that line.
Knowing Deschamps, actually, I feel like he might bring Giroud instead of even because. Yeah, which I won't do, but I know Deschamps might do that.
Well, he just pulls some crazy goals out too, though.
That's another thing. That's
no matter how old he is, you smile and you laugh when he scores these goals.
Netherlands is fast. The whole team is young.
It's true.
You have to counter that pace
because it's Ake and Van Dijk back there in the back.
Yeah, and you have Xavi Simons in the middle. So, and the next thing you have to do is anytime, because that's why France is so. A lot of teams from when 2018 or 17 to now, they are so scary national because the speed is all about the pace, especially on the counterattacks.
Yeah.
If you can have Mbappe for the counterattack, let's say you had a Kuku, but I wouldn't put Giroud, to be honest, because he's gonna slow the counterattack. Because Thuram will go, Dembele will go fast. By the time they get there, Giroud is still in the back.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's still back there with the keeper going.
Unless he's not tracking back. Unless he just stays up, then they can make it.
Well, I think that the Mbappe debacle, this whole broken nose thing, like this makes the Netherlands matchup a must watch, like a must full watch. Like I have to watch that on the 21st.
I mean, even without the nose, I will have watched it because I want to see what he's gonna do. Because the Netherlands, they go crazy. That's a great team.
Yeah. All right. Well. That was another episode of the Top Corner Football Podcast. We covered some interesting news and transfer updates and rumors. We covered the first wave of matches for the group stage of the 2024 Euros. We'll be back next Monday to discuss the remainder of the group stage, and we'll have plenty of Mbappe nose updates for you as well. Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah, if you haven't heard us, like I said, go watch us. And if you don't want to watch us, at least go listen to us. So we got Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever.
Yep, links in the description below, all that nonsense. Give us that Spotify star review.
And definitely go subscribe.
I've been fucking lenient with all of
Turn on your bell notification.
I've been very lenient.
Give them a gunshot.
Man, I'm telling you.
That's what we want to do.
Don't push me again. Goodbye, everybody.